Hi, I'm Christina Applegate.
And I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler.
And this is
Messy. The following message is brought to you by Novartis. Hi, I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler. When it comes to relapsing MS treatments, your choice matters. That's why talking to your doctor about your options is a big deal. But how do you know what to ask? Figuring that out can be daunting. That's why I partnered with Novartis to create an MS treatment decision guide. It's packed with helpful info and questions for your doctor to help make an informed decision. Trust me, the more prepared you are, the more confident you'll feel. Download the guide right to your phone only at treatmentdecisionguide.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Messy. It's Jamie, and today I am going to be joined by Myriam Sandler. She is the creator of Mothercould, and she's the author of Playful by Design. She herself has created truly an incredible community around her. And just recently, she has shared with them and all of us that she has been diagnosed with MS. I'm really looking forward to talking to her about her journey, about parenting, about community, and so much more. So please welcome to Messy, Myriam Sandler. Myriam, welcome to Messy.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm glad. I'm so happy to be talking to you. You know, I feel like so many women and people know you as the woman behind Mothercould, which is this incredible, creative, joyful resource for many of us, and much of who you are, who is a creative, joyful, resourceful mom who has built this amazing community. So before we get into sort of current day and even sort of what we're getting to see and enjoy from you online, we like to go a little deeper here at Messy, and we like to start at the beginning. So we always begin with this question, which was, who was little Myriam? Like what was the music you liked? What clothes? What did you like to do? What were your favorite movies and TV shows? Things like that.
I love that. I'm a classic millennial. Well, she was a classic millennial. Backstreet Boys was her first concert, so it was that style. I'm actually from Venezuela, so I've moved back and forward a few times. So it was kind of like I moved here when I was 7, learned English, moved back when I was about 12, relearned Spanish, and then moved back when I was 15, relearned English because I had to kind of like switch that like chip in my head every single time I moved countries. Yeah. So I feel like it prepared me for today's world of quick changes and being able to adapt.
I was just going to ask you, so what that must have also been difficult as a child, or was that more of an adventure? Like, how did you react to that type of life?
I think my parents made it more of an adventure, which was really nice. It felt like we were always either furniture shopping or looking for new places. And I guess lifelong friendships weren't my strong suit because, we moved a little bit.
Sure.
But it was exciting at the time. But now that I'm an adult, I have lived in this house for 10 years and I'm like, I don't want to move, right?
Totally. Well, I feel like that's very common, that sort of, not on purpose, but it's almost like you grew up a certain way. And, as a kid especially, you always fantasize about what it would be like to live the way somebody else lives. I think it's it's not surprising that like your life now is a much more sort of stable, grounded, rooted one because, well, you're getting another experience.
Exactly. And I don't think my childhood was bad in any way. And I loved the changes that came with it, meeting new people, seeing all types of people, adapting to change. And that was all very wonderful. But I'm happy that I can give my children a bit more stability, which is really nice.
Yeah. Were you always creative?
I was always creative. My mom was a chef. So since I was little, I was in the kitchen with her, which really came of use when I had my own children, because a Mothercould started because my little one had a texture sensitivity and she wasn't eating anything. And I would call my mom and she would be like, add more salt. And I would add more salt. And then, and then she still wouldn't eat it. And she's like, add less salt. And I was add less salt. And she still wouldn't eat it. So I was like, forget the food. It's not the food. It's clearly the textures. So then I started like literally creating my own sensory play recipes out of food, because I knew how to mix different ingredients together to make a Play-Doh texture, to make a slimy texture, to make a gooey texture. And I don't think I've ever thanked my mom for this, but like her military style of like, come cook in the kitchen with me really helped.
Well, cooking is kind of like experimenting, right?
100%.
I think it's like, it's trying this. Okay, that didn't work. Trying that. So I can imagine that helped you with. So you briefly touched on, for people that don't know Myriam and much of your background, Mothercould came from a moment in your life as a new mother, right? This was with your first child?
Yeah, first, yeah.
I don't want to say anymore. Do you mind just explaining to the listeners? Okay.
So I was a really young mom too. I was 23, and I was kind of like, but it's typical in my culture, and like majority of my family also had kids really young. So I was like, if they did it, I can do this. And so I had this struggle with my daughter where she was like in the 90th percentile of height and weight, and we're not very tall people. So it was like, oh, that's cool. So she wasn't eating anything. And I was like, I have a degree in psychology. So I had worked with many kids that had sensory difficulties, ADD, ADHD. And I was like, okay, I can see that she is rejecting whatever I put in front of her. So it's not necessarily a salt, a sweet. It's not really a taste situation. It's more like a texture. So like I said, I started creating these sensory play recipes and introducing textures through play. And it was life-changing. It was so life-changing that I started sharing it on social media, not thinking that it would ever in my wildest dreams become my full-time job. So much so that my husband was an investment banker for 15 years, quit his job, and now Mothercould is his full-time job. All because of my daughter's texture sensitivity. Insane.
I have chills, because sometimes our path, our destiny, our purpose comes from a need and a struggle.
100%. A struggle, agree.
And so then take me to the struggle, because you were a brand new mom. If I think back to when I was a brand new mom, I mean, both of my kids brand new, it was overwhelming, but especially your first, right? Yeah. Were you fearful at all? Like, take me to those moments where you're noticing like something's not clicking, something's not wrong. What is your natural reaction? Is it to go into problem solving? Do you have moments of stress and fear, or is it all happening at the same time?
It was definitely an experimenting scenario, because I would go to the doctor and I would be like, listen, I'm concerned that she's not really eating. And the doctor's looking at me like I'm crazy because she's in the 90th percentile of height and weight. And I'm just like,
she's just drinking bottles?
Not even. I was reducing the milk more and more and more and more. And she's still, I don't know what. I think her body was just like storing fat. I'm not sure what was happening because she really wasn't eating much. So I was starting to get more and more concerned as she approached her first birthday. And I was in that experimental phase where I was like, okay, salt, sugar, texture, this, that. And then I was like, okay, let's pull away from the dinner table, because I was stressing both of us out so much so that I would put a plate in front of her. She would immediately start crying because our kids sense.
She felt
our
your
stress.
Yeah.
100%. So I would put it and I would look and she would just start crying. So I was just like, you know what? We need to step away altogether, bring joy and fun and play into our lives. And that's where my husband started looking at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
where I was like, okay, I'm going to give her this blue water. It's very sticky, but she's going to love it. And my husband's like, sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
It worked. Whatever I did, in 6 months, she was eating broccoli and salmon and quinoa. And I was like, I did this. And that's where Mothercould came in. I was like, that feeling of like empowerment, of like taking a struggle, seeing a difficult path and kind of overcoming it. That was my Mothercould moment. That was my moment of like, every parent should feel this at least once. And it could be with literally anything. It could be even struggling with tying their shoes or connecting, whatever it is. It should be a feeling that parents should feel at least once of like, I'm amazing. I'm capable. I did this. And that's how Mothercould came about.
What a beautiful gift, especially to give new mothers. And also just that trust that you are the perfect mom for your kid. Like you were the perfect mom for your daughter in that moment, who had her psychology degree, who has this sort of experimental nature and just kind of reacted the way you did. And then what a gift to give other people in sharing your experience. So at what point did you decide to start sharing what you were going through online?
I didn't necessarily share the struggle, which is a big part of what Mothercould is I don't start with, poor me, this is what I'm doing, this is the struggle that I'm going through. I start with solutions, and I started sharing the actual sensory play recipes as a form of connecting with your children, period. Because play
So it wasn't like, oh, other moms are probably struggling with this, I should show them how.
No.
Interesting.
It was always I feel like the connection between parents and children should be obviously loving and strong. And how can I foster that through my platform? And it's always through play. And it's not necessarily like I hate dress up. I hate when my kids like touch my hair and do my nails. Like that's not my thing, right? I don't like that.
Oh, that's what I crave. I have all boys and I'm always like, can you just play with my hair?
Just a little braiding, just a little. Well, with 3 girls, I promise you, it's not that great. But I love cooking. So I was like, listen, my moment of connection is in the kitchen making Play-Doh. And it's for me, it feels like cooking. I'm combining a few ingredients, doing it, and then they go play with the end result. And I was like, there has to be more parents like me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a lot more parents like me.
There's over 1 million of them, over 1.5 million of them.
Exactly.
Okay, well, so learning all of this about you, especially your in saying like, I'm not interested in sharing this, not that you're not interested, but like your reasoning wasn't to share the struggle. You weren't necessarily needing that community aspect, but you were just more of like, this is my reaction to this. This is the solutions. This is play. This is positive.
Yeah.
So now take me to current day.
Oh my God.
It was recently went public that you've been diagnosed with MS about a year ago. Before we get into the sort of publicly sharing about it, I imagine there was sort of a period of time where you felt like something was happening in your body and you didn't necessarily have the words for it yet. There's a lot of people that listen to this podcast that are kind of in that stage right now. So could you kind of take us back to the beginning? Like, what were the first things you were noticing in your body?
So I noticed something was off, I want to say like 3 years ago. I was experiencing these very bizarre, like it was not even a dizzy spell, but like, you know that feeling when you're, well, if you've ever fainted before, then that feeling when you feel like you're about to faint.
Yes.
I was feeling that, but then I would grab onto something and then it would kind of like snap out. So I was experiencing that sporadically for 2-week period and then it would go away. 2-3 week period and then it would go away. So I'm very proactive. I have health anxiety. So anything that like happens to me, I'm like very like, okay, I need to go to the doctor. So I did that. I went to the endocrinologist. I went to the gynecologist. I went to my general doctor. I went everywhere. I got blood work. I did everything. Crystal clear picture. Crystal clear picture. I even did a full body MRI 2.5 years ago with Pernuvo. I was like, I'm going to spend this money. Like I said, I have health anxiety. So I just want to know where it's coming from. Crystal clear picture. Crystal clear picture. It was almost 2 years. And that was still happening like little by little, but it would go away.
Right.
So maybe I was like, maybe I'm just a tired mom. Maybe I'm just dehydrated. Maybe it really is all in my head. maybe it is, which it turned out to be all in my head and my spine.
Yeah. Well, I had a clear MRI a year before I was not diagnosed with MS, and then a year and a half later had another MRI, and the lesions were there. So I had a similar experience.
Wow, that gave me chills. That's exactly what happened. So I was having those dizzy spells on and off, and then I was actually on a trip in Switzerland, and I told my husband, I was like, I'm experiencing these very weird symptoms where it felt like it was almost like a lightning bolt was going down my lip, out my arm. And it was like a little bit numbing, and then it would go out, but it would go away.
Right.
But then from there, it was happening more times a day, so much so that it was happening like 20 times a day. And then it would just go away. And I was like, we're getting another full body MRI.
Your body was speaking to you.
My body was speaking to me, like little by little.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important to like when I shared my news, I really wanted other mothers to sit in their bodies. Because we are so busy. We are busy caring for our children. We are caring for our parents who are older. We're caring for everybody. But we kind of like silence ourselves. Yes. And I could have easily just gone through.
Continued on.
Continued on and just be like, no, I was just dehydrated. I was on a trip. Like, no. I came back and I did another MRI. And I actually wrote a book. It's called Playful by Design. And 2 days before the book tour, 2 days, I get a call from Pernuvo. And they're like, you need to go see a neurologist, like right now. And I'm like, what? I remember it like yesterday. I walk into my husband's office and I tell him, he's like, he turned white. He was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, we need to go see a neurologist. And it was kind of like one thing, like the stars aligned almost, where I was able to see a neurologist really quickly. And the one thing about the full body MRIs is that you can find incidental findings.
Sure.
So I didn't want to worry my mom. I didn't want to worry my in-laws with this information. Mm-hmm. If I wasn't sure what it was.
Right. Of course. Yeah. And also everyone is entitled to their own autonomy and 100%. Reaction and privacy. It's like why HIPAA rules exist, right? I mean, exactly. It's like the doctor protects you, but you also have every right to sort of process things in your own time.
Agreed.
And I, of course, understand your intention. The following message is brought to you by Novartis. Hi, I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler. When it comes to relapsing MS treatments, your choice matters. That's why talking to your doctor about your options is a big deal. But how do you know what to ask? Figuring that out can be daunting. That's why I partnered with Novartis to create an MS treatment decision guide. It's packed with helpful info and questions for your doctor to help make an informed decision. Trust me. The more prepared you are, the more confident you'll feel. Download the guide right to your phone, only at treatmentdecisionguide.com. Support for Messy comes from OneSkin. You've heard about us talk about OneSkin before, and whether you're someone who tries every new skincare product that hits the market, or if you've been using the same one or two things for years, at some point, listen, most of us realize our skin just isn't keeping up the way it's used to. So that's why OneSkin changed the game for me. It didn't just make my existing routine better. It actually works differently than anything else I've tried because OneSkin has their OS01 peptide. It's specifically engineered to address the zombie cells, which are the ones that are driving those visible signs of aging, the fine lines, the dullness that creeps in over time. And with summer here, you know what matters even more? Our body, because up to 80% of visible skin aging starts with sun exposure. So OneSkin's new limited edition summer bundles have you covered. It has their skincare, their SPF essentials paired together, their OS01 peptide. They've got your face and your body covered. Born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin is helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code MESSY at oneskin.co/messy. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code MESSY. After your purchase, they will ask what you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. So, so you get into a neurologist's office and then
I go into the neurologist's office and I say, look at these. One of my husband's cousins is like a head radiologist, and he had seen it, and he was like, yeah, you need to go see a neurologist. And I was like, okay. So I go see the neurologist, and she's like, I see the lesions. You have several in your brain, some in your spine, and whatever what this is called.
Your cervical spine, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, what do I do? Do I cancel my tour? Do I? And she's like, honestly, you need more testing. She's like, I can't diagnose you because you don't have typical MS symptoms. Mm-hmm. So I can't just say, okay, I see the lesions, I see the symptoms, you're diagnosed.
Right, and they're aligning, right. So because it was just those sort of dizzy spells and those kind of zaps that you were talking about.
That's right. Exactly. Zaps is the exact terminology, actually. When I think about it, it was a zap.
It sounds like a zap.
It was a zap. So she's like, I can't diagnose you at this moment. We need to do more testing. She said, go on your book tour because the blood work alone is going to take about 2 weeks. So when I was in New York, I was getting blood work. When I was in LA, I was getting more testing. So it was kind of like through the tour, I was getting all of this testing. And you know what a book tour is like.
I know what a book tour is like. I also know what it's like to carry something really heavy and scary and pretend like everything's fine. How did you get on a plane, go into a bookstore, stand in front of people, talk about your book and be on, right? When internally you're dealing with something so enormous.
It was a blessing in disguise because I feel like that period of testing is not spoken about enough. That period of testing causes so much anxiety, so much tension, so much uncertainty, so much thoughts in your brain that just like come and go.
Yeah.
And since I was so busy, I wasn't able to think about the spinal tap that I was going to get or the results of the MRIs or what it would be like to lay in a MRI thing for an hour and a half without moving. Like I wasn't able to hyper fixate on those thoughts because I was so busy.
So it was kind of a blessing to sort of have that distract you. You could sort of compartmentalize. What were the things that you leaned on and turned to in those moments? Like your husband, did you have quiet moments of despair and tears?
Yeah. My husband would just look at me and cry.
Aww.
Period. He would just look at me and cry.
Was he on the book tour with you?
Yeah. And I think that was the hardest part of not speaking to anybody about it.
Of course.
That it was just us. So he couldn't offload his worry onto somebody else because he was being strong for me. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to be so vulnerable because he was the only person carrying all the weight. So not being able to tell other people was difficult during that like waiting period.
Yes.
And I mean, you waited a lot longer even after you were diagnosed. What was it?
15 years.
Yeah, 15 years.
Yeah. No. And also put that same sort of pressure on my loved ones, right? To hold this secret for me. And we try here a lot to also highlight everyone's experience when it comes, especially to chronic illness, because it does affect everyone and everyone deserves to be acknowledged and recognized in what it's like and what 100%. It's like to carry anything chronic grief, chronic depression, chronic illness, all of the things. It's sort of this undercurrent that's always around and you have to sort of navigate how to soften around it, how to rise above it, how to let things come up when they need. And you, again, I am so sorry that this has become something that you have to deal with in your life. But I also can already acknowledge and see that you are going to be a great gift to so many.
Thank you.
As you share how you navigate this. So
thank you.
When you got that official diagnosis,
Yeah.
what was that like for you?
I think that's where the real anxiety happened. I think that before that, it was like, maybe it's nothing. Like I am that delusionally positive person.
Same.
Maybe it's nothing. Like there is a possibility.
Or it could be some random thing, a UTI. Do you know what I mean? Like you just hear crazy things all the time and like maybe that's me. Yeah.
Yes. So I was that delusional. I was like, no, I wouldn't say delusional. I was that hopeful.
Yes.
I was that hopeful that maybe it would be nothing. So once I got the diagnosis, the struggle of all of this, obviously MS is a struggle, but the anxiety that has come of it has been my biggest hurdle. Because, for example, my dizzy spells before they would come and go and I would be like, maybe I was dehydrated. Now it's tied to something. Yes. So like simply driving my kids around in the car scares the out of me. Because like, what if I get dizzy while I'm driving?
Is that your main symptom that you deal with is these dizzy spells?
The dizzy spells, the fatigue. And
the fatigue is it's probably I can imagine for you because I have a similar personality type to you, and it can be really frustrating, and I can be really hard on myself about the fatigue because I'm like no, like you're being lazy, Jamie, like you're not choosing to go do this, and you're not like why are you sitting down, right? Like I get in my head so much about things, and sometimes I have to have. Either somebody has to forcefully remind me or I have to remind myself like, no, like I have MS. And like sometimes that's like my body begging me to rest. I'm such a person to like push through.
Same.
And we pay for it.
We pay for it big time because it not only affects that moment that we push through, it lingers for much longer. And I've learned that throughout the past year, like a lot more things make sense, right? Like that's the beauty of a diagnosis is like, okay, once you get it, you're very anxious about many things. But like now it's like, oh, no wonder, right?
Yes.
Like that's the beauty of it. It's like, it's really not just in your head. It really is something.
By the way, I feel that way about my periods.
Yeah.
Where I'm like just not the nicest. And then I get my period like, no wonder.
Well, comes every month. Surprise every month.
Every time. The 17th of the month. What? Okay. So you get this diagnosis and all that comes with it. You had a choice whether or not to share this with the world. Yeah. What made it feel like it was the thing that you wanted to do?
Honestly, from day one, I wanted to scream it from the rooftops because I'm that person. I am vulnerable. I am me. Like what you see is what you get, right? So I didn't because of my family.
At first.
I didn't for an entire year. I didn't tell anybody.
When you say it was for your family, what do you mean?
I feel like there's a lot of stigma with chronic illness. Because it's like once you say you have something, there's something wrong with you. Like you're not as capable. You're not as right. You're not as productive. You're not as useful.
It leads. It's almost like it comes in the room before you.
Exactly. So certain family members around me are that type of people where they're like, they have a persona almost, like this is who I am publicly.
Yes.
And this is not really who I am. I'm many other things privately. But I'm not like that.
Yeah.
For me, I was like being handcuffed for an entire year. And it was really difficult.
Well, probably felt phony in moments.
Exactly. I felt like I was lying. I felt like I was handcuffed. I felt like I was carrying something. I felt shame.
Yes.
Which, what? Like, no. And I felt like that was almost making the symptoms and everything worse.
Yes,
They were making it uglier. It was like this big, ugly monster that lived inside of me, and I wasn't allowed to let it out.
Wow.
And it wasn't that anybody specifically was like, you can't talk about this. But it was like the connotation of it.
Of course. Yeah. And there's also, again, that you deserve and need time to process something.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you need time. When you share publicly your life and what you deal with, there's so much that comes along with it. I don't want to say struggle, but I still, I've allowed myself to just always understand that I'm just kind of figuring it out because, much like you, and I don't say this as like advice to you because I think that you know this, but like, I don't claim to be an expert on MS. I'm not. I'm just somebody that has lived with this for 25 years, and I'm here to share my experiences, how I'm figuring it out. Yeah. I get things wrong all the time. And I think that if you're going to share something publicly, especially something so intimate as like a diagnosis and something you deal with, you have to make sure that you're armored with the protection that you need, because you're going to get a multitude of reactions from people because people are dealing with something difficult. And when you react from wounds, it's not always kind and lovely and supportive. And I've had to try to figure out how to just constantly check in with myself that all I'm trying to do is something good. Not everybody's going to like what I'm going to say. Yeah. Not everybody has the same experience. But the only thing that I can do is speak from my own.
That's right.
And so when you gained that courage, because I do think it's very brave of you to share.
Yeah.
What was it like when you kind of hit that post button for Instagram? Like, and this private part of your life became public?
I think it started kind of before that, because when you are recording a video, as you know a lot about, you kind of like prepare yourself for it.
Yes.
So I was almost like, that was the hard part. Like prepared to actually talk about it, even if no one was able to, even if I never published it, if no one ever saw it. The hard part was reliving it, talking about it, looking through all the details. I shared it in 3 parts because Instagram cuts me off. Right. But it was almost like symptoms, diagnosis, and treatment. And it was literally like 45 minutes of me just like rambling and going through it and what I've been through in the last year. And that was only the first 2 months, right?
Yeah.
And I think once I got through that, hitting the button wasn't so much the difficult part for me. I think it was the difficult part for everybody else around me. Like my intimate, close family, like that was the hard part for them.
My mom cried when I told her I was going to tell everyone I had MS finally.
Yeah.
Of fear of what my life would be like.
Exactly.
And I was like, it can't get any worse than what it is now.
Exactly. And you know what was the most beautiful part of it all? Is that, 1, nothing changed. Nothing changed. 2, it was so much support and love.
Well, you already have this huge community that trusts and loves you. Did you feel so held by them?
Yes. And I was able to connect with other people going through this. Like I didn't have to live through this alone. And it wasn't even like them. It was like people that have never met me in real life. And they were like, I'll connect you with my cousin. I'll connect you with my doctor. Whatever you need. And that to me was like, the crazy part about all this is like, I knew that was going to be the case.
Yeah. Well, because you've already had that kind of experience with Mothercould.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't know that was on the other side of this. Yeah. But it's like, even to this day, like if somebody comes up to me in the street and is like, I have MS too. Or the other day I was walking with my son out of like a frozen yogurt place, and this woman rolled down her window and started crying. And she's like, I have MS. You're crushing it. And I'm like walking with my cane and my kid. And I just started bawling because I I still need the reminder there's other people like me out in the world. Like
exactly.
It does lighten the load to know that you are not isolated in your experience. And you've been doing that for so long with Mothercould.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine how many mothers that are dealing with something that feels the sort of like the same kind of overwhelm as an MS diagnosis can feel, and look to you as you are choosing how to react to it.
100%. One of the things that I was most worried about is sharing the way that I chose how to handle treatment.
Yeah.
Because treatment looks so different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want that to show that my experience, I didn't want my experience to taint somebody else's experience.
Again, that's the tricky part of, not tricky, but that's the part that you have to keep reminding yourself and your audience, if you want, about sharing this publicly. Because you're not telling anyone how they should do things. No. You're not pretending, like you said, that your experience is everyone's experience. It's really just to share stories and share your emotional and, how you take care of yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Like, I think that's where we can offer support, real support and advice or ideas, because everyone's body is so different.
100%. I think one of the things about Mothercould that's so beautiful is that I share play ideas and connection with children. And one of the things that my husband and I wanted was to continue to grow our family. And I think that was possibly not the hardest, but one of the hardest part about getting such a diagnosis, because I already have 3 children.
Yeah.
And for the neurologist, it's like,
I know.
What do we do? I'm like, I've already started trying. And she's like, well, you have to stop trying. You have to start treatment. You have to do this. You have to do that. So I think that's my question to you is, how was having children with such a chronic illness?
Well, my first son was an oopsie, but he just happened to come at a time where I was like, okay, I'm going to approach the MS. I was still living with it privately. Like, I'm going to approach it holistically. I'm going to get off all of my medications and this and that, which wasn't actually good for my body, but in very beautiful, divine, I believe, timing, my son was created. Yeah. But then 4 or 3.5 years later, when I wanted to try for a second, I was told by a neurologist, you have one. Like, do you really want? And I said, no, I want more children. And that was one moment where I was like, MS makes a lot of decisions for me.
Yeah.
I know that I am young and healthy enough and have the infrastructure to have another child. Like, I will forever regret if I didn't try another child. Like, it was burning inside of me the same way I have the full knowledge that I am 2 and done and our family is complete. I knew I wanted and needed another child. And obviously my neurologist had to listen. So I went off treatment.
Okay.
And 2 months later I was pregnant.
Wow.
And I really am so grateful to my body. It was wonderful to be able to have such a restorative and like almost a repairing year with my body, of it doing what it was supposed to without any struggle, and like it was creating this life. And I breastfed for 4.5 months, and then I went back on treatment, and I've been on treatment since. But I would tell you, I mean, again, I'm not a professional, but maybe I am a professional with MS after
I would
all
say
these years.
25 years would be a professional.
But when it comes to something like that, if you know no one knows your body more than you. And if you feel well and capable, and you know that there's just like another little soul on the other side, like waiting for you, I would not ignore that.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that I struggle with, because I mean, anybody that has 1 child, 2 children, you're so grateful for what you have.
Yes.
But you crave like a picture that you had painted for yourself almost, because that that is what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's what you think, what you thought was
your
going
dreams.
to be your
It's your hopes and your dreams. And again, MS, I think, can change. It doesn't take them away, but it can change sort of the picture of them per se.
100%.
But there is something to, I think, getting the disease under control with your medication, feeling like you're in some sort of stable time where you can, that's what I did with my neurologist, was we're like, okay, the disease has felt really stable over this last year. Like there's been no new lesions, no relapses. I'm feeling as strong and healthy as I can. Like now's the time to go off the meds. So you will do that, but you also, I think you need to be in that driver's seat and deserve to be in that driver's seat. And especially, again, I'm somebody who's like, you do not give up on something because you have MS. It just might look differently.
100%.
The following message is brought to you by Novartis. Hi, I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler. When it comes to relapsing MS treatments, your choice matters. That's why talking to your doctor about your options is a big deal. But how do you know what to ask? Figuring that out can be daunting. That's why I partnered with Novartis to create an MS treatment decision guide. It's packed with helpful info and questions for your doctor to help make an informed decision. Trust me, the more prepared you are, the more confident you'll feel. Download the guide right to your phone only at treatmentdecisionguide.com.
Support for Messy comes from Radiance Collagen. Fundamental question: why do we let ourselves age? Aging is very different than getting older. Getting older means more shared experiences and time with loved ones. That's a gift. Aging is a choice. So how do I align myself with healthy aging? Well, for my mind, I meditate. And for my body, I've added one new ingredient into my routine: collagen. And my favorite collagen is Radiance by Brickhouse Nutrition. We start losing collagen after the age of 30. So whether you're 25 or 75, this supplement is so beneficial. Here are some of the top benefits I see from collagen. Joint support, which means less waking up sore, stiff. Muscle recovery, especially if you're doing any resistance training. And skin health. Your skin is your body's first line of defense against the outside world. That's why it is so important to start it from within. If you don't feel a real difference in your health, you get your money back, by the way, no questions asked. I got you 20% off and free shipping when you go to brickhousenutrition.com and use code MESSY. That's brickhousenutrition.com and use code MESSY. Support for Messy comes from CB Distillery. When was the last time you woke up and actually felt rested or got through a day without feeling totally stressed out? Yeah. Over 50% of adults say they'd feel better if they got more sleep, and stress is often the biggest barrier. That's why CBD from CB Distillery makes so much sense. CB Distillery has natural solutions for sleep and stress that can help break that vicious stress sleep cycle. And everything from CB Distillery is premium quality, third-party tested, and free from artificial dyes or fillers. They're the source I trust, and so do 2 million other happy customers. You can shop by benefit, whether you want better sleep, less stressed, improved focus, pain relief after workouts, or even something for your pets. It's all right there. So if you're ready to start sleeping better, stressing less, and just feeling good again, check out CB Distillery. Visit cbdistillery.com and use my code MESSY for 25% off. That's cbdistillery.com, code MESSY, cbdistillery.com. Specific product availability depends on individual state regulations.
The other difficult part of this entire journey was I have an almost 12-year-old. So I didn't want to share publicly what I had without having a conversation with her.
That was going to be my next question.
Oh my God.
Was how...
If I tell you, you're going to get the biggest chills ever.
Tell me.
So we're getting off. So we've been living with this for a few months. And my husband and I were like, when should we tell her? How should we tell her? We don't want to make her feel like mommy's different. Mommy's like not going to be there for her. Like all of those things. I have a almost 12, almost 9, almost 5. So 11, 8, and 4. 4-year-old lives in La La Land. 8-year-old happy middle child as could be.
Yeah.
My 11-year-old, whole different story. She's a full-blown adult.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Typical oldest child.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
So we're getting off of a flight. I don't even know where we were going or coming from because this is all I remember from it. We're getting off the flight and she's like crying. And I'm like, Nikki, what happened? And she goes, I was watching Dancing with the Stars and my favorite dancer has to leave because she's not feeling well and I don't know what's going to happen with her and she's like hysterical. And I go, show me right now. Like right when you're getting off of, you know, when you're like, that's off the case. I'm like, right now, because I had a feeling it was Selma Blair. And I was like, you know, those things where it's just like, it's destiny to talk. Like, it's just things happen, right?
Yeah.
So it happened to be Selma Blair, and it was MS. And I was like, today, we have this conversation today.
Oof.
Today. Because if I would have just told her weeks later,
yeah,
she would have been like, oh, that's why you wanted me. You know, she would have just painted a bigger picture in her head.
It just felt like the moment.
It felt like the moment. So I was like, obviously not at the airport because that would have been too much. But my husband and I are just looking at each other like, what? Like, what? And she doesn't typically watch Dancing with the Stars. She had just downloaded Dancing with the Stars because one of my friends was like, why don't you download Dancing with...
Right. So she watched a bunch of episodes.
So she watched
was
a
very
bunch
invested.
of episodes.
Oh.
So we get home and at night I was like, told my husband, I was like, right now. It's going to be right now. So we go into her room and I was like, you know, I had stopped you at the airport because I wanted to see blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to tell you that that's the same condition that I have. And then I explained to her quickly. I was like, you know, when you and your sisters, you all get the flu, but one of you gets a cough and one of you gets a runny nose and one of you gets a fever and you all have different symptoms, but you all have the same type of flu. I was like, that is what I have.
Wow.
But it doesn't mean that I have the same symptoms as everybody else who has MS.
What a wonderful way to describe it. Wow.
Yeah, I don't even know how this came to me. I'm telling you, it was divine intervention.
Yes, 100%.
And she just looks at me and she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's something that I've been living with. You know how I have to take my shots. And she was like, oh, I just thought that was just helping you feel better. And I was like, yeah, exactly. It's helping me feel better. It's helping me feel better. It's helping me stay on a stable path. It's helping me keep further symptoms from happening. And it was, in my head, it was a 3-hour conversation. It was maybe 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was maybe 5 minutes.
Well, you know, kids are so simple. Like you give them honesty.
Yeah.
You give them like this few specifics you knew intuitively as a wonderful mother to give her. And like, they don't need more. Like,
no.
So, okay. So I don't mean to interrupt. So you have this conversation. It's 5 minutes. Was she
have this conversation.
Emotional, or did she feel just sort of equipped enough with enough information to kind of?
I think she, one, sees me doing well. She sees that nothing has changed. She never saw me in the hospital getting treatment, getting tested, none of that. So in her head, it's, oh, she just takes an injection every month and she's just my mom.
Mm-hmm.
But with that injection has come lifestyle changes.
Mm-hmm.
If there's flu in one of their classes, possibly none of my children get the flu. Somehow I get the flu, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a lot of lifestyle changes in terms of like when you come home, we have a routine of washing hands, taking off your clothes, like those types of things to help protect the household.
Yep.
To keep germs and whichever kid way you say, I say it's like keep the germs away, keep everybody healthy, keep our immune systems high. We eat vegetables because it makes us strong, like all of those types of things.
Yes.
And Where before it was like, you take your supplements every once in a while. It's, you got to take them all the time type of situations. Yeah. So it's those lifestyle changes that came with the house little by little that have become a part of us when heat is a huge, huge trigger for me.
Yep,
huge.
Same.
I live in Miami, so we go to Disney World a ton. When we go to Disney World, I'm that crazy lady with my umbrella and my fan and my cooling towel and all the things. But the coolest part of it all is that my kids also want the umbrella and the fan and the cooling towel. So it's those buildups in your head that you're like, I'm doing all these things. Yes. It's normal.
So they all know. Do all three of them know?
All three of them know. But in their own ways.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
My little one, Ariana, she has no idea. She lives in La La Land, right? Yeah. No idea. But for her, when she sees me doing the injection, it's, oh, okay, cool. I'm not hiding.
100%. 100%. I've found that over the years with my kids, questions just come up.
Yeah.
Especially as they grow, they meet more people, they're out in the world more, and it makes them sort of relate back to you and think about you. Like my little one, he's still sort of trying to figure out MS. Like he's very clear about how it affects me. He's very clear about my limitations. But he's very different than my older one. Like if I trip and fall, he freezes and kind of won't talk about it. But then that night when I'll put him to bed, he'll ask me, are you going to die soon? Because like he just starts like it's very black and white, everything for him. Yeah. And so, I'll ease his mind with information. But my older one always has a lot of questions, but it's more like, what are you not telling me? Not physically, but about how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Like he'll tell me all the time, like, Mama, like randomly, he'll be like, I'm really proud of you. And I'm like, why? He's like, because you don't complain. And I see that sometimes like when you're cooking dinner and you're cleaning up for us and you're doing this, like I see that it's hard on your body. And I just want to say thank you.
Wow. That's incredible.
I used to always worry what this would take away from me as a mom.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you've also been able to see like the things that it gives, the perspective that it gives your kids.
100%. Compassion, kindness, love, inclusion. I think like it's a big realization. I think like I lived in La La Land for many years where I was just like, my body is doing its thing. It's perfect. And then I came to the realization with all this, like everybody has something.
Oh, yeah.
Something. Everybody. And I think that that's a really incredible skill to teach children when they're young. Mm-hmm. Because when they're young, their bodies are, thank God, perfect.
Yeah.
They're working. They're doing everything they need to do.
That's right.
But then they grow up and you, like me, at 34, at the time, I was like, excuse me, what?
Yeah.
What?
So,
it's failing me? What's happening?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So having this perspective and having lived through this now for a year, it's like, wow, the more I do talk about it, the more I talk about it with my children, the more I don't hide it, the more I don't hide that heat affects me, that I'm chronically tired, that, this is my life, this is the treatment that I have to do, the more that they see that it's just human, that people have something.
And you know what, too? I think that you continuing to do what you do with Mothercould, all the while still being honest and sharing what you're experiencing. Like, I think people can sort of get down on the highlight reel of Instagram. And look, 100%. I'm definitely somebody that can get triggered and feel like, oh, my life is not like that. Or it's like, but the truth of the matter is, going to what you said of like, everyone has something. Sometimes I shift my thinking where I'm like, but that person's got shit in their life right now and they're 100%. Still showing up and they're still at the gym right now. Or they're, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. They're just showing you things that are possible despite dealing with something hard. Everybody out there that's putting themselves out there, especially the positive things, like they're
They're overcoming something every day. And you continuing Mothercould does more for your children than even you talking about it. Do you know what I mean? Them knowing that you're living with this and showing you still continue on. What a gift.
It really, I almost feel like it prepared me to be in the position that I am in now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because even though I didn't talk about it with my community for a year, I knew that eventually there was going to be a lot of people there for me.
Absolutely.
And I was going to be able to be there for them. And that is priceless.
How beautiful. You know, one of the things I think is the hardest part about a diagnosis like MS, though, is not necessarily what's happening today, but the uncertainty of tomorrow.
Yeah.
How do you live with the unknown of that? Do you have like moments where you allow yourself to go there, you know?
When I was first diagnosed, I was so anxious that my neurologist put me on an anti-anxiety medication, very low dosage, half the starting dose. And it was hard. Even the 6 weeks of tapering on, the doctor was like, you might have lower sex drive and you'll gain a little weight. And I was like, I'll take it.
No problem.
And I get the one thing that nobody gets, which is heightened anxiety.
Oh.
So for 6 weeks, it was like the tapering period of like getting used to it. Oh my God.
Just making it worse. Wow.
It was so difficult.
So what did you do?
I waited it out. I have a therapist, obviously, and I was waiting it out, going through it. 6 weeks, light bulb, back to myself. Don't know. I don't know how that works. But after a few months, I'm not a person that takes a lot of medication. I have a very low tolerance. Like if I have a headache, I take one Advil. Like that. Right. That's just my body.
Yeah.
So after a few months, I was like, okay, I feel like it was a lot of having symptoms, going through the treatment of diagnosis and then starting treatment is a lot of punches to your mental health all at the same time.
Yeah.
So the way that I saw it was if I was a punching bag, getting punch after the other, eventually there's going to be a hole. But if it was one punch, wait 5 months, another punch, 3 weeks, another punch, those little punches don't affect you as much, don't affect your emotional regulation as much as a continuous one right after the other. So I knew that I needed something to help me regulate my emotional state for a certain period of time. And if anybody's listening to this, it's not that easy to know what you need. So if you're in this and you're thinking, I don't know if I need this, I don't know how long I'll be on it, I don't know, that's normal.
Yes. I'm so glad you said that. This is so much trial and error, and you cannot beat yourself up when something didn't work.
Exactly. So I was on it for a few months, and I go to my neurologist, and I feel like I feel strong enough to get off of it and see where I'll be at. And that's exactly what I did. I tapered off very little, slowly, little by little. And what's interesting is it didn't necessarily take my anxiety away, like make it just go away. But it did help me create strategies to help cope with them. And that's what I feel like is a really valuable skill to know how to calm yourself, how to quiet the endless thoughts.
Because you've said before you're somebody who can tend to overanalyze
everything
by nature, right? Which can create so much unnecessary stress, so much doubt. So if anything, this experience has really taught you how to harness that.
Yes. And it's nowhere near perfect. I get anxious out of nowhere, stress out of nowhere. But I now have the skills, I have the team, I have the people, I have the ability to say, which I think is very difficult as well, to just say, hey, I need a moment, or I don't feel like doing that. Like, for example, I had a fear of heights before all of this started, but it was like a small fear of heights.
Yeah.
Just didn't go on roller coasters. Now, when this was happening, I essentially in Miami, I live in an island. Everywhere you go, you need to cross over a bridge.
That's right.
Talk about the heights of the bridges.
Oh my God. Bridges are very stressful.
My God. So while I was on this like tapering this situation, all of a sudden I was scared of the bridges. So now I can't leave my house.
You can't go anywhere.
I can't go anywhere. No, escalators, like things that were just like completely like not a thing really.
Yeah.
Were heightened. So I've learned these new skills to cope. And I think that's what has really helped me with not overthinking the MS.
Yeah.
To be grateful for today, to really think about how I'm feeling today. Because if I've learned anything is that things change really quickly, but they also change really slowly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea if I'll continue on this path. But
now,
also in 5 years, maybe they'll invent a medication where they get rid of our lesions.
That's right. I love it. I love to hear you say it.
And that's where I'm choosing to be.
Do you feel like, big moments, big life moments like this that are all encompassing, that are all the things, right? They're challenges, they bring lessons, they bring beauty, they bring pain. I think that they're moments that can sometimes redefine the word strength and hope.
100%.
How has MS redefined or reinforced those words for you?
I think more than anything, it's given me perspective. And with perspective, it really comes, well, I guess it can be a choice if you want it to be hopeful or not. And for me, the perspective has brought me hope. Hope in many scenarios. Hope in bringing people together. Hope in acknowledging that chronic illness is not who I am, but it's just a little portion of things that I have to deal with. Just like going to get a manicure and a pedicure. I like doing that too, right?
Yeah. It's just a little extra maintenance.
Just a little extra maintenance. And I think in terms of strength, I don't think that I'm there yet.
That's okay.
I don't think that
Me neither.
And it's been 25 years.
Yeah.
I like to pretend.
And the grace of that. Do you know what I mean? I have moments where I feel empowered and I feel aligned and I feel sure and I feel strong in every sense of the word. And then I have moments where I feel the complete opposite. But like you said, the one thing I know is that everything changes and that nothing is permanent. And so to sort of loosen my grip and just know underneath it all the fire and the heart and the focus that I have, despite what I might be feeling physically, mentally, whatever it is, having the support system, not knowing that you don't have to go through it alone. I think strength and hope can be redefined every day, every hour.
I agree. For me, strength is fake it till you make it at this point.
Yeah.
It's feeling that, yeah, of course.
And you've been doing that. You've been doing that for so long in front of all of us and for all of us. And I just think you're amazing. And I'm so
Likewise.
Sorry that this is part of your journey, but at the same time grateful that people like me have you to look to.
Thank you.
To guide us in your spirit while you deal with this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think when the neurologist gave me the diagnosis, I turned to her and I was like, so you're saying this is the best case scenario?
Wow.
And she was like, Nobody wants to have MS, but out of all the brain possibilities, you are correct.
I like your thinking, girl. I like it. I like it. All right. Before we let you go, I have one last question.
Yeah.
For the person listening, I imagine there might be somebody listening right now who is where you were a year ago, right? Maybe they've just been diagnosed. Maybe they're waiting for answers. Maybe they're experiencing symptoms and they're terrified of what those symptoms mean. What would you say to that person?
I say, don't quiet the intuition that you feel about something is wrong. I think that's the most important part of when I was diagnosed, how I was diagnosed, when I was able to catch this early. And I think that's one thing that I see in my community over and over again. Like when I go to the gynecologist every year, I'm like, guys, book your appointment and go.
Yes.
Because I know I've been there. I've also canceled the appointment and I've not gone for 2 years, 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's my biggest takeaway of all of this is go. Go get it checked out. Go, even if it's a waste of your time.
That's right.
Just
That's right.
Go and have the courage to say, I don't feel like myself. I think that's really important because I think that a lot of people, when they think and say, I need help, I don't feel like myself, those two things makes them less of a person, makes them less valuable. And it is the complete opposite because everybody needs help. Nobody is able to do anything alone. So that picture that we've made in our mind is false. So I think that I am such a big advocate of say it. Even when my children are feeling poorly about something, I always say, when I talk about something, it always makes it smaller than what I had thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with everything. If they have a problem with a friend or the way they're feeling about themselves or whatever it is, it's say it. Say it, put it out. It's just even if you say it to yourself in the mirror,
that's right.
It shrinks every time. That's my advice.
I love it.
I wish somebody would have told me that.
It's beautiful advice to leave us
Thank
with,
you.
Myriam. How can our listeners find you?
On social media, everywhere, on my website, anywhere Mothercould. I have a book, Playful by Design, if you're looking for ways to incorporate play naturally into your home, independent play. My website has tons of resources. One thing that I did with Mothercould is everything that I share is made with using household items. So I'm not going to send you to Target or Michael's and let you buy all of these things for a one-time craft. I'm going to send you into your kitchen and scavenger hunt through your home, use recycled materials, and just use what you have to connect and play.
Beautiful.
It's really nice.
Myriam, I've loved getting to know you
Likewise.
And talk to you. Consider me a friend, and anything you ever need, I'm here. Thank you so much for coming on. Before I let you go, I'm going to just read a quote. I pull it randomly from a deck, so we'll see what we have for today.
I love that.
People usually consider walking on water or in thin air a miracle. But I think the real miracle is not to walk either on water or in thin air, but to walk on earth. Every day we are engaged in a miracle which we don't even recognize. A blue sky, white clouds, green leaves, the black, curious eyes of a child, our own two eyes. All is a miracle.
I love that so much.
This show is executive produced by Christina Applegate, Jamie-Lynn Sigler, and Allison Bresnick. Our audio engineer is Josh Windisch.
And if you want to show us some love, don't forget to leave the show a rating or review. Hi, it's Jamie. Thanks for listening. I just want to let you know I am a paid spokesperson for Novartis, but this podcast is independent from my collaboration with Novartis.